observed governments that function. And I don't say that to be disparaging to our to Kenya, right? I spend a lot of time looking at this because I'm a patriot. I love Kenya. I want Kenya to do well. We have a serious issue that is exacerbated by corruption, right? I mean, we have a budget of 4 trillion. Every year we are short, right? We raise about 3 trillion of the budget. So we always have a gap of at least 1 trillion. And remember, I mentioned that the country loses 20% of our budget to corruption every single year. I don't know any other country that is okay with that. How can you lose 20% of your budget to corruption? I mean, I spend most of my life in the private sector. If I lost 20% of the budget, forget about 20. If I lost 5% of the budget year after year, I can't keep a job. Why is that different when we are evaluating our government, right? When you start off with a budget of 4 trillion, you raise 3, so you have a shortfall, and then you lose 800 billion of that, and then the rest of it is spent on extravagant salaries, ridiculous benefits. When you really go down and try to find out how much actually impacted the average citizen, is very little. That is why when you look at a place like Turkana, for example, since devolution started, we've sent 116 billion to Turkana County. If you're from Turkana County today, drive around and see if you can find where that money went. If you are in Mandera County, you received 105 billion over 10 years. Go around and ask yourself if you can see the impact of that. You can't see it. And the reason why you can't see it is that much of the money is actually getting lost to corruption. The cost of corruption in our country is not just the money that we lose. It's the human cost. When I travel to Kenya, I spend a lot of time going to small towns. And I see people that are drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, young people, 20, 25, 30. They are drinking all day because they don't have anything better to do. They don't have a job. Some of them are educated, but they can't get a job. Some of them are looking for skills. They can't go to college because there's no funding, or there's not enough funding. Why is that? I support a couple of students in university in Kenya. And I do that because I look at, some of these people reach out to me and ask me to help them. And I said, I would do that. But I asked myself, why is it a private citizen in America having to do this when we have the resources to do it? Why is it that we don't prioritize our young people? So the cost of corruption is not just the money that we lose, it's the human cost. When you have, and I've given this example before, so I'm gonna ask you for your indulgence a little bit to give you an example. Last year, I started a development in my home county of Kiambu. And the development that I was trying to put up is some apartment complex. I had about 25 young people to help me with the initial phase of the project, which is developing a perimeter wall, clearing the compound. And these guys spent 3 months doing that. When they were done, I came by and I wanted to thank them. They had done an amazing job. And so I threw a party for them. And as we were talking, they really wanted to go around to give me, thanking me for the opportunity. It's not something I had ever seen before, right? And so that's when it dawned on me that opportunities like that are not easy to come by. They told me they had been looking for jobs for a long time. Actually, one lady approached me and said, my husband and my son have been working for you for the last 3 months. My husband was an alcoholic. Every day he will get up in the morning and drink. He's been working for the last 2 months. We appreciate the opportunity. And that gentleman told me, look, I feel dignified. I wake up in the morning and I know I have a place where I can go work. I can, provide for my family. I don't have to look like, a bum. Those guys asked me if I can offer them a job, when it comes to the other phase. I offered to do that. I have not been able to do that for them because when I applied for my approvals at the county government of Kiambu. The county government of Kiambu took my documents and hid them, confiscated them and hid them. And after 6 months of chasing them, 7 months of chasing them, I was approached by county officials who told me that your documents were taken by someone. They were hidden. They gave me the name of the individual that did it, and we can make them reappear. We can help you find them. And so they forced me to pay them a bribe of 40,000 shillings, and my documents reappeared again. Up until this point, I have not been able to clear that whole process. I lost about a year in that process. Those 25 people that were helping me will be working today. Those people are probably back to drinking because they don't have that opportunity. Their kids that will be going to school are waking up in the morning and looking their own dads drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. That is the human cost. That is the cost. And so my frustration, when you read in my tweets, my frustration is palpable, but there's a reason for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. Thank you for that example. Now let's open the conversation. Can the youth slay the dragon of corruption? The older folk, the whatever generations from S coming all the way to Y, have talked about corruption to levels that well, let's not include the Y. The millennials at least have tried to join with the Gen Zs and now the Gen Alphas. Can these generations slay the dragon of corruption? What would you like? What do you think? What needs to happen so that then we can deal with this corruption once and for all? ESCC, I see you're still here, and thank you very much. Take notes. At some point, we'll come to the ESCC and we'll get your perception as well on what people are saying. For example, what people are saying in the comment section. 27th John says, until we have direct liability on public officials, fighting corruption remains a myth. Robert says, time for us to elect good leaders. We know who the good leaders are. And I'm going to continuing this conversation with a message by Robert. He says, we need to send Uhuru, Ruto, Raila, Rigathi to permanent retirement. Farah Omar says, as everyone goes to Shags in December, he's bringing the Okia conversation here. Will the test the sword? Corruption in Kenya is all over. In my opinion, the two deterrents against corruption, Oisa Oduho says, in government is to designate it as a treason in the constitution, punishable by life imprisonment, wherein the convicted will be made to work in whatever come, what may, to compensate the society. Just increase the level of punishment in fighting corruption. What do you think needs to happen to address the issues of corruption in our country? What is it that can the youth slay the dragon of corruption? Joshua Kayo, you have the mic. The President, Kenya School of Law, ATP. Joshua?
Eric, maybe as we wait for Joshua, can I just mention something very quick?
Go ahead, Opondo.
Thank you. So Bonnie, finally we are meeting on one panel. I think this is the second time we are meeting. You've really been a resourceful person. And the kind of work that you do on X, sometimes I take this work and now do it to the counties. And I want to believe that I've shown you, like where we went to Homa Bay and sat everyone under a tree and we're taking them through step by step that, look, this is the population of your county. This is the budget that was set in the fiscal year 2022-2023. This is what your county is generating as an income, as own source revenue. So for example, let me, an example that I'm having right where I am here, and I know, Bonnie, you're very passionate about this. Looking at Garissa County with a population of 841,000 was per the census of 2019. The budget standing at 9.243 billion shillings, yet the county's own source of revenue is just 81 million, which is just 1% of their own budget. The county assembly, out of that, now smashes 902 million, which is now 10% of the budget of the county. They're 10%, while they can only generate 1%. If you look at the cost of domestic and foreign travel standing at 159 million, then you come to bursaries and scholarships, then finally allocated 30 million. And the top 10 largest projects, for example, at 750 million shillings. Looking at the top 10 largest projects, what is in that top 10 largest projects? You find things like building ward offices at 227 million, for example. County headquarters, another 28 million. fire station being built at 17 million. And then now you wonder, where is the money really being allocated to? And sometimes I really feel it, especially when Bonnie, you tweet, because it is a lot of frustration. A lot of money is not really dedicated to development. And even the so-called developmental projects are not really projects that are for the people. It looks like the whole thing is just designed to keep on benefiting the leaders. So Eric, on the question on what must be done, and I want to say it boldly here, we have to keep on igniting that anger, because it is only when people are angry enough they are able to see the real dragon that we need to fight. Back to you, Eric.
But what are they angry about? What are they angry with? Are they angry at themselves? Are they angry at their relatives who are participating in corruption? Are they angry at those in leadership who have a responsibility? Are they angry at the institutions that are supposed to be fighting corruption? Where should they direct their anger?
I think, Eric, the first step is finding, first of all, what to make them angry. Because, even for myself before, I never knew, for example, when you see politicians going around, and we've seen politicians telling people, make a line, giving 200 shillings. Young people need to know that, to start asking, where is this 200 shillings coming from? Why is it being given to us right now? Is it being accounted for? Because you accept it, yes, but then you realize that because you accepted this money yesterday, today you don't have decent hospitals. You accepted this money yesterday, you don't have lights on the streets. You accepted this money yesterday, all the drainages cannot be unclogged. So then you wonder exactly what is happening. So to me, the anger should be directed to the people who are promoting corruption, because once we deal with these people, the systems will work. Because Eric, you and I know very well, even if we don't correct things, even if we have Messiah coming to be our president in this country, we are still going to have a problem. So for me, we need to keep on raising this anger so that people know that it is my dignity that I'm being robbed. It is what I deserve that is being taken away from me, and I need to rise up and speak about it and take action.
Thank you, Apondo.
Thank you, Eric. I'd love
Don
to chime
Victor
in on that.
Simon, what do you think? Can the youth slay the dragon?
Eric, I'd love to chime in on that.
Don Victor, you have the mic, and then after you, we have Osore Sabi.
Hello. Hi, Eric. Hi, how are you? Okay, let me talk
Frazier.
about the question. Host, can you give
Go
me
ahead.
the chance?
Go ahead, Grazie and Meru.
In Kenya, we have many corruption cases whereby you see these police officers, tuseme mtu ametaka kusaidiwa, maybe lazima police officer apewe kapesa kidogo ili ndio aweze kusaidia. But this Kenya, where are we heading as Kenyans? You know, this government, look at the corruption cases that has been happening. Look at the NYS scandal that was happened, I think, some years back. But Anne Waiguru was not yet arrested. Look at this guy, this artist, King Kaka, said that wajinga nyinyi. So do you know Kenyans, sisi wa Kenya, sisi wenyewe tunapaswa kuwa imara. Tunasema that sisi wenyewe lazima tuende maandamano kwa njia tuhakikishe hawa watu wote wenye wako na corruption cases. Look at Mike Sonko. Mike Sonko was removed from office. The same way to William Samoei Ruto should removed out of office. Looked at the share scandal. The share scandal has been used I think some millions of money. And the other day that Hassan Joe said that they have been using 3.1 billion to count fish. I was assuming that 3.1 billion could be used to kusaidia yani ule Mkenya akona mashida pale. Look at on the street on Nairobi. Nairobi now has become a place where this chief of environment is disturbing a lot. He has also corrupt cases. Look at Meru County, Kawira Mwangaza has used 939 million. These millions of money goes to his or her account kwa bwanake. So tusimameni imara wa Kenya wenzangu, tuende pale kwa njia, tuendeni maandamano, wherever you are from, which county, Meru, Bungoma, Kisumu, Nairobi. Let us go on street and dramatize these corruption cases. Look how President Ruto is killing young
President,
Kenyans. And the
President,
place where we are...
let me pause you there.
Wait, Mr. Host. Wait.
I want to ask you a question. Because yes, we can hear you. I want to ask the
What?
question. The
Yes?
question is, you as a
Yes.
youthful Kenyan,
Uh-huh.
you as a youthful Kenyan, do you
Yes,
see a
yes.
role that you can play to end
Uh-huh.
corruption at your
Yes.
local level and then going all the way to the national level?
Yeah. So let me tell you, host, that I'm a blogger.
What role?
Let me tell you. Yes.
What role do you see yourself playing?
So my explaining is that corruption in Kenya, number one, start with the police officers. Number two, the DCIs. Number three, the ministries that are involved in government. Number three, these are big people, politicians in the government. Those people are the most corrupt people. If you see, even in the checklist, you will see that ESC has just found out that number one are the police officers. Why? Police officers, if tuseme Mkenya anataka kusaidiwa, ule Mkenya anapoenda pale police station kusaidiwa na usaidizi ambao unahitajika kikatiba, polisi anachukua sheria mkononi mwake, anamwambia sijui alete kitu kidogo. So my question is this, that police officers should be not corrupt. Look at the traffic police. Traffic police are taking a lot of money. Also, these people should stop with effect. ESSA should see that police, Mr. Host, Eric.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you. I mean, we've gotten your message that there's indeed corruption. But the question that I want to ask, and I want us to spend the next half an hour asking ourselves, is number one: can the youth slay this dragon of corruption? And if the youth can slay the dragon of corruption, then how? And if the youth cannot slay the dragon of corruption, why? Osore Sabian, you've got the mic.
Yes, Eric, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, the question you have just spun it well. You are asking, can youth, that is the bracket that we are in, can we slay this dragon? Allow me to start that we need a radical surgery in respect to attacking this issue of corruption, because corruption, as the clarion calls goes, that this one is one of the most cancerous thing that is impeding our progress of our country. So can we slay this dragon? Yes. And I know your rejoinder question will be, how can we do this? Allow me to try and digest it slowly by slowly, because this is something that when we talk about it, we usually try and look at things at the high pedestal. Recently, I was speaking with some of my friends, and I told them that we have normalized doing things wrong in an event that if you want to do something, we need kuonwa kidogo kwa kando. As a young entrepreneur, when I get possible prospect, the personas or the people in procurement or finance on the other end, they'll tell me that if you want to get this contract or tender, give us a percentile of whatever you're going to quantify, so that we can push this thing forward. And this is something that has been spread out into from our generation, whereby even in a house, when a child does something wrong, or when a child refuses to do something, you see the parent or the mother or the father will tell the child that kababa ama kamama, wacha nikupatie kitu kidogo ndo ufanye kitu fulani. We need to groom ourselves from the youngings, whereby we start educating these kids, which the generation Alpha and Beta, they are presiding and they are coming faster. We need to start to incepting something about integrity, due diligence at the younger stage. iwe normal to them. But if we try to push it as it stands now, majority of millennials and Gen Z, they grew in an environment whereby they knew that ni nchi ya kitu kidogo. So changing that narrative, it is going to take a overhaul, because the older generation, the gatekeepers are outside there. They don't want to agree on the status quo. This paradigm shift needs something like a radical surgery in respect on how we can tackle it. And by doing this, we can start by educating the younger generation, this generation Alpha and Gen Beta that is coming after Generation Alpha. We give them education about good governance and due diligence, because in Kenya we are puking, and erosion is there based on issue of due diligence and good governance. Allow me to return mic to you, Mr. Eric.
Thank you very much, Osore. Don Victor Simon.
How are you? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes, we can hear you. You can go on.
Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Eric, for this opportunity to discuss a couple of things. I think it's prudent to say that we have an opportunity to run these things end to end. So as we discuss, from of public sector supplies, but also coming from a point of Mwananchi. Man, we are telling every young guy, please go out there, think through of a service or a good you can offer the government, come and tender. And on the other hand, the guy seated behind the desk is telling you indirectly, you tender, utalipua binguni. So what the youth are asking themselves is, we have the brains to think of the best solutions, whether it's technology, whether it's goods and services. You can't tell me in this age and time why we have to import desks, tables from Malaysia, why we have to have IT companies from Pakistan or Sri Lanka to offer solutions. I'll tell you this relative. The next six biggest projects in Kenya on digitization, a sector I mean. The last 3 years, almost every been looking to set up in Kenya to do that. So I was once told by a colleague of mine, Kenya, and you did number one. We have made it a norm. We have made it a norm that to governance, we have made our youth to the ones that are being used every time a corrupt. They are the ones being paid this cheap money online. It is telling me to I give you, the host is having a connection issue, but let's continue. I hope you guys hear me. So one of the things we can do, and one of the things I'm hoping would happen, I hope you can still hear me, is number one, personal liability is something this country has to take charge of. This position you hold in government is held in trust. You've been entrusted with that position. If something goes wrong in the county government of Laikipia, the accounting officers, and I'm very grateful, I'm sure most of you do not understand. In government, there's something called authority to incur expenses. That man is the one who tells you there's vote in my account, please issue the LSO to that other person. That is a person who, should you supply and not get paid, that is the first person who should be arrested. So to kill corruption in Kenya is very simple. Go for the person in that office. Don't go for the institution. The OCS Kasarani, if something happens there, don't sue the National Police Service. No, go for the OCS Kasarani. The youth have a duty to, number one, understand the constitution, understand how government, understand how institutions, and most importantly, play a part in them. We keep complaining and we keep saying this can be done, this can be done. And we keep asking people. We are saying Adani or so and so is bringing. How many youth in Kenya have sent PPP proposals on various aspects? The other day I was seated with some youths from a university and we are discussing about the e-citizen in Kenya. And I asked them, how many of you have tried asking
starting with Western, Shilaho, then Betty, then OG, Roberto mwenyewe pale hivi. Haya, Western.
Peter, you're asking whether they are cornered. Well, they can answer that question. But what I can tell you is that no politician anywhere in the world who is going contrary to popular wishes feels safe, especially when anger builds up amongst the people. No politician, no normal politician, no sane politician will feel safe. They don't feel safe. And there's anger all over Kenya. It's there. What do you do with that anger? You must channel it to something. And they're not doing it. They don't know what to do. So that anger could easily get you out of power, very easily. And because you are an establishment, they will not just stop at you. They will also go for those who came before you, who are also responsible for their misery and the widespread despondency in the country. So there is genuine concern about restlessness in the country. And any rational politician would understand that they can't sit on their laurels and pretend that all is okay. Because the army can only do so much. It has been proven again and again. The army can only do so much as far as protecting you is concerned. The police can only do so much as far as protecting you is concerned. When the people lose that fear and they come out like a wave, like a tsunami, actually the police will join the people. The army will have no option but to join the people. So there's genuine concern. And therefore, Kenyans have every right to demand for accountability, to demand for good governance, to demand that the state, the government delivers on its core mandate. That is their right. They deserve it. It's not a favor. And therefore, whatever alliances that are formed, what have you, they should not hoodwink anybody. Of course, they've got their minions who will, blog and say, this is unity. I mean, of course, they are lying. This is not unity. This is self-preservation by the political elite who feel cornered, at sea, embattled. This is their reaction. It's visceral. It's like you drive to your predecessor's home incognito, unnoticed. What are you going to discuss? You're not going to discuss state affairs, because if you're to discuss state affairs, those affairs would be discussed from State House or Arambe House, and you release a joint communique. Joint, Pipita. There was no joint communique. Yes, if it's about state affairs, and you'll spell out the things that should be done. It's not like Uhuru Kenyatta expressing, extrajudicial executions. No. When you meet, and if your meeting was about national interest, there will be things that must be implemented going forward from that meeting. What came out of it? When you tell us that the economy is not doing well, also, we know those things. Did you tell your successor what should be done? That action must be taken about, if it is about police brutality, if it's about the economy, if it's about extrajudicial execution or the healthcare. Did you tell him the things that should be done? There was no such a discussion. So in the absence of that, what was the discussion about? Personal interest. It's as simple as that. So we must relentlessly demand that the Kenyan government responds to the popular wishes. No one will do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves, because these people are exercising power that we have delegated to them in our trust. And if they abuse it, like any rational people anywhere, whether it's in Korea, in the US, in Australia, we have to demand it back. We'll take it back and delegate it to another body of people whom we think can prosecute a national agenda. It's as simple as that. So they're not doing us a favor, serving as cabinet ministers or as a president. No, it's not a favor. It's actually a privilege. And that privilege can be withdrawn by the people. It can be withdrawn. It's not a birthright. So I think they're not getting that clearly, because none of them has risen above, insular politics. None of them. They've always been mired in insular politics about personal interest, about sectarian interest, about the interests of the political elite, as opposed to the interests of the people of Kenya as a collective. So, Pipita, that will be my take, that whatever they do, let it not hoodwink us and think that, at some point they'll pull some rabbit out of a hat or something. There's no magic that they can, as of now, pull and get this country working. We must just get, proper leadership going forward, and they don't constitute that proper leadership. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter the gimmicks they play, the games they play, how many times they somersault and take care of one another's interests. That doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that it is incontrovertible that they don't have what it takes to crank up this country to the next level and make it occupy its rightful place among civilized nations. They don't have what it takes. So going forward, we must forget about these people as we chart the way forward. They are people who have seen better days. They are part of our history. They cannot be part of our future. That will be my take. Thank you, Pipita.
Thank you, Western Shilaho. Betty, what are your final thoughts tonight?
Okay, first of all, nilikuwa napitia this tweet Moses Kuria amepost, and he's like, we are moving to Jubilee Party. You're just playing around with political parties, and this Atabont Kenya is moving to Jubilee Party. Do we really need Jubilee Party to? God, I don't know how to phrase this thing. Again, nimepitia niko na Ruto ametutoa kutoka kwa pepo chafu, and he's calling us stupid again. Just because we are questioning why are you vaccinating our cows?
Betty, are you there?
You hearing me? Can you hear me?
Kidogo, but now you're back.
Oh, sorry for that. Now, you could stupid to kufuata kama makondo, and you don't want us to question you. Again, I was reading a certain article by Citizen. Company being sold easy parastatals zote zenye government waliset to sell. Again, the reason they're selling it, they are selling all these parastatals is because to create more revenue. But you've already created revenue and you're not working. Again, Ruto is telling us, I'm employing 20. It's your responsibility. Again, when you
I don't think, Betty, your network is correct, because you're totally disappearing.
I'll still go hungry.
Betty.
Sorry.
Betty?
Haunisikii?
Ni kama uko kwenye hakuna network vizuri, unapotea kabisa totally.
I'm sorry for that.
Okay. I think you'll have to refresh so that we can hear you, of course. Haya, Roberto, unasemaje final words hapa ndani? We have about 10 minutes. Leo nataka kuifunga on time. Nilifungua 5, nataka kuifunga 9. Roberto.
Okay, my final words nataka ni reassure all the Kenyans that this Mr. Kasongo is cornered. For sure is cornered. Kwa sababu ile kiburi yenye alikuwa nayo kitambo, naona ni kama sasa anajaribu kutone down, lakini bado hajatufurahisha, hajaturidhisha venye nafaa ikuwe. Si unaona? Amereduce mambo ya travels, siku hizi haendangi nje sana. But then that's not enough. That's not enough kwa sababu amepena so many promises. But ukiangalia the number of promises zenye amefulfill ni kidogo sana. Yani it's insignificant kusema sasa that is the kind of leader that we wanted in Kenya. So mi ile kitu yenye nitaambia wa Kenya, unaona, talk is good but action is better. We are going back to elections in about 2.5 years from now, and this is the time. What we are asking the government to do is to facilitate the creation of the IEBC. The moment hiyo imefanyika na wafungue registration of voters, wacha tufike huko in big numbers, kwa sababu tutaongea hapa hivi, lakini hawa wanakuanga na taktiki yao to divide in terms of tribal communities. Wanasema sisi that thing of kingship, sisi ni wa kabila hii, sisi ni wa Kikuyu, sisi ni wa Kisii. I just want to talk to my friends wenye maybe wako kwa spaces hapa hivi, just to say something. Tuliona Gachagua zile moteli zenye alinunua kwa majina za watoto wake, hakununua kwa majina za Wakikuyu, ati kusema sijui nani ni sasa nyinyi Wakikuyu share zenu ni kwa hii hoteli. Alikuwa ameziregister kwa majina za watoto wake. So these people are fighting for themselves and they are protecting each other. Trust me, wewe na mimi tuko alone, we are just on ourselves. Na tukiingia kwa hiyo box ya kuwa divided, tutakuwa victims wa hiyo vitu wanasemanga divide and rule, and we don't want to go there. For us to build a nation yenye iko prosperous, ile nation yenye, ile country yenye Kibaki alikuwa envision kwa hiyo vision yake ya ilikuwa ni 2030 ama 2063, something like that. Hii mambo ya tribal kingships, tribal alliances, hizo ni vitu zenye tunafaa tuweke nyuma as a civilized society. Tujue sisi wote, what unites us ni sisi wote ni wa Kenya, and we find somebody mwenye akona the will kuleta change Kenya. But tukiangalia hawa tuseme sasa sijui ati Kalonzo sasa ni mzuri, jana alikuwa na baba, sijui wamekuja wamefanya handshake. They're just playing with our minds. They're not going to help us in anything. Hata ukue kabila yake, hata ukue unatoka naye kwa village moja, hata kusaidia. So just get the mentality that you are alone, au kuna wao na sisi tuko peke yetu. Na for us ndio tujenge Kenya yetu, lazima tuangalie zile vitu zenye tunataka, na lazima tukue very very cautious on choosing who are our leaders. Tumeona juzi hapa hivi, tumeona the power that parliament inaweza kuwa nayo. Parliament inaweza impeach, parliament inaweza fanya so many things. So apart from getting the president, angalia ule leader mwenye mnachagua hapo kwenu kwa village yenu, ama kwa constituency yenu, ama kwa MCA yenu. Hawa ndio watu wanaweza implement change. Mkileta mtu mzuri, huyu mtu mzuri can fight on your behalf. So it's all about, first of all, the first thing ni being a registered voter. Second thing ni hiyo wakati ikifika, do the right thing. Sinaona, do the right thing. Na tusikue watu wenye tuko short visioned. So now, because all these politicians, they've been working together at one point or another. They just differed because of their personal interests. Sasa kama Gachagua, the other time alikuwa na Ruto, alikuwa anaongea matope, mambo ya shareholding, so many things. Lakini because ati wamekosana, tunasema sasa amekuwa mzuri. Somebody cannot change overnight because ati amekosana na rafiki yake. So let's be smart, let's be intelligent, let's be cautious on who we choose as our leaders. So from me, hiyo ndio naweza sema leo. Hiyo ndio kitu yenye naweza sema leo. Kasongo amekuwa cornered. We've done a good job so far. Let's keep the momentum.
Asante sana Roberto for that. Naona Pop ameenda, so tutawambia good night. Asante sana, naona pale Vilinus, big up to you. Baba Jackie na kuona pale ndani, Bionic, Muhija, Aguko, Anthony, Access, PK, thank you so much for being here. Big Boss na kuona, siku nyingi Big Boss. Winnie Atiz, Winnie hata nilisahau sauti yake. Big up to you Suguta, Dalvo, Evans, Frederick, Mr. Future, big up to you as well. Uda Lego na kuona pale ndani, Jackso, Moon. No, but then nimeona climax ikitoka Nairobi 10:30 am. Najua nimejua hiyo inamaanisha nini. Holiday imeanza. Yeah. You guys are having holidays. Naona Betty ametoroka kabla nimwambie kwa heri. But anyway, thank you so much for being here with us this beautiful Tuesday evening, morning, wherever you're listening in from. Na wale wenye wanatusikiza kutoka huko Guangzhou, najua sasa ni usiku wa manane. It's about 3 am. Uko mbele Guangzhou. So I realize that's why I don't have yen friends, you see. Like PP, let me send you some yen. Hakuna huko. Because any time, so if I have to get a yen friend, I have to start doing shows in the morning. Yeah. Not my type of, cup of tea. But anyway, thank you so much for being here with us today. Robert Weston and the other speakers as well, from the start of the show all the way to now that we are calling it a night. I would like to wish you all the best. I will see you again tomorrow for yet another home run in PP. Of course, before we take a single day break. By the way, naweza maliza hiyo show kama nimekuja kuwafungulia home run. A single day break so that I can go watch Willie Oeba celebrate 10 years of his Oebaism poetry. And then on Friday, we are back live again. So there's a lot of things going on. Be on the lookout and of course, be informed. Na kama kawaida navyosema, Home Run Pipi inasapotiwa na nyinyi wasikilizaji. You can keep the lights on via M-Pesa line 0721948229. Alafu kuna YouTube channel pia hapo juu, HRWP. Search, angalia kama bado uko subscribed. Kuna time watu unscribiwa wengi, so jaribu kusubscribe again. HRWP pale hivi kwenye YouTube. At least tujikaze tuone kama tunaweza fika kwa monetization. Otherwise, good night and be safe. God bless you. Good night. Bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome to Home Run with Pippi.
nua kichwa amechapa yote. Paka Omondi, anaitwa Omosh 1 hour huko Jacaranda. He makes sure nobody, whether we ni mdogo ama we ni mkubwa, anakutandika. So what are we supposed to do as Kenyans? Because mimi ukaniuliza, it's better even the devil that you know than the angel that ako kwa giza na umuoni ni nani, which is Ruto. Ana push my cards, he's just pulling the cards zenye tunashangaa. Really, is this the man that was singing Mama Mboga? Is this the man that was singing Boda Boda? What has happened to our president all of a sudden that he does not care about us anymore? Mtu mwenye anadai aliuza kuku ndiye akaenda kwa mamlaka akakuwa mtu mkubwa. Mtu alikuwa anasema atatoa watu chini akipeleka juu, ndio huyo anachukua wale wako chini anakanyaga kabisa, anapandia vichwa zao. Now we have suggested a few things, but we need more force, we need more brains to think about it. We need people that are ready to sacrifice. And I want us to watch one person. There's one person called Okiya Mtata. Huyo jamaa kupambana na Ruto kwa court anaweza, ako sawa. We need to try to identify a few people and make a group, make some luminaries, those who are able to do it. Tukiangalia Kalonzo is doing it and Martha Karua, but nguvu yao ni kama inaisha, ile wanaenda wanapotea. Unajua unaona kiberiti inaenda ikiwaka ikipotea. We need people that are focused to communicate, because Ruto anajua saa hizi kura ikitoka hata wakisimamisha nani atashinda Ruto, because in essence, for truth, ukweli kabisa, Ruto hawezi shinda kura ya Kenya. That is the truth. Na yeye
mute. Okay, ni kama umemute kidogo Thank you. Acha niseme hivi, mnanisikia Mato karibu tena. Ulikuwa umemute mic yako. Endelea.
Oh, sorry, it's just the internet in a peak modem hapa hivi. Wacha nitoe. Let me just finish real quick. Okay, so what I was saying, wakati Raila alitoka kwa position yake, because Raila ilikuwa kitu ikitokea ataita press conference mara moja na akitangaza the government is shaking. We need that kind of a person. Whether it's Morara, mtu mwenye akisimama akitoa press conference, government inatetemeka yenyewe tu.
Mato, I think you're having a problem with your network.
Akona shida ya network.
Garuya, senior, you here? Jambo sana.
Yes, how are you, Dawak? Long time bana.
Karibu sana.
So I'm here. Niko na makasiriko sana na huyu Zakayo. And one of the main campaigns that I really want to focus on ni to make sure bana hizo ng'ombe hazijadungwa. Those our cattle, our sheep, our goats, we should start from there. Hao watu tunafaa tuwatandike vibaya sana wakikuja ground. Let's not accept that. In every rallies that we do, every campaign, every sports thing that we do, let us ensure that we educate these people mashinani kabisa. Pesa wakipatiwa wachukue, juu sisi hatuna za kuwapatia. But after taking the money, tafadhali, do not entertain the kind of nonsense these people are trying to preach to us. Kwa sasa ni hayo. I'm yet to see what Uhuru is after. Juu either way wataongea tu, watafichua tu Kenya wameficha. So let's just observe.